Look, this is Sydney Sweeney right here. Check her out, okay? So she lands a knockout at TIFF with Christy. Christy's the movie, stoking Oscar buzz. Now, TIFF is the Toronto International Film Festival, and the movie is Christy, okay? If you're not familiar with Sydney Sweeney, American actress and producer who gained recognition for her roles in Euphoria and The White Lotus. She first appeared in small roles on shows like Grey's Anatomy and Pretty Little Liars before landing supporting parts in Sharp Objects, The Handmaid's Tale, and Everything Sucks. Her big break came when she was cast as Cassie Howard in the HBO Max drama series Euphoria. Okay. And there's probably like a Cassie Diddy connection there now that I read that. But let's go ahead and check out this character and this decode I put together. This character is completely new to me. Okay. And I'm going to show you what I feel is a nice decode here. But let's check this out. That syncs up with the Rudy Giuliani story lately because they said that he was flagged down by somebody who was experiencing domestic violence. And then afterwards, Rudy Giuliani was in a car crash. Okay. Before the accident, Giuliani, a former attorney for President Donald Trump, and Goodman were flagged down by a woman on the side of the road. So if you were able to hear that what I just played, that sounds like a similar story. Now both of this stuff is trending right now, and it's amazing when that happens because I already have some slides that are put together that connect with Rudy Giuliani and New York. Okay, so again, the new movie Christie is a biographical. Did I say that right? Biographical sports drama starring Sydney Sweeney as trailblazing boxer Christy Martin, chronicling her rise to fame as the face of women's boxing in the 1990s and her subsequent struggle with a life-threatening domestic abuse situation with her husband and manager, Ben Foster's character. The film, directed by David Machad, explores themes of resilience, identity, and the personal cost of achieving greatness in a male-dominated sport. So that I'll bring up that Rudy Giuliani. There was a movie called Rudy too, which was sports related. Interesting. And yes, the new boxing movie titled Christy is a true story based on the life of boxer Christy Martin. Okay? And this character plays her. So Sydney Sweeney, you see right there, Sydney Sweeney boxing movie Christy gets November release date. We're going to get into that, okay? Check this out because you can see, following a rousing reception from the Toronto International Film Festival audience Friday, Sweeney stood beside Martin on the stage of the Princess of Wales Theatre, calling it the experience of her life. Now, that was the day leaving 117 days in the year, 117. This movie is scheduled to be released November 7th, 117. You see that? November is the 11th month on the 7th day. So you get 117 with this story, and then the film releases 117. Isn't that amazing right there? Boxing equals 71, boxer equals 71. It had its world premiere at the 2025 TIFF, which is Toronto International Film Festival. And you see that right there, man. That day leaves 117, and then it connects with the release date in November. 117 is like 17. What is 17 reversed? It's 71, and then boxing and boxer equals 71. Even Christy Martin, 177 in ordinal, and Sydney Sweeney plays Christy Martin, this boxer, who was going through domestic violence. It's a true story. Okay, now it's in film. Sydney Sweeney bulks up for the role. She plays Christy Martin. And you can see how these characters are connected. Okay, you see Sydney Sweeney right there, and you'll see some more photos of the actual Christy Martin. You see her posing with her right there, okay? And you see Friday. Look at that, and you see that birthday. Okay? Look at this. Look at the birthday for Sydney Sweeney. It is in a few days. Okay? It is September 12th. So now she's trending right before her birthday. You would think in the article they would be like, and her birthday is in a few days. What a coincidence that she's trending now. But they're not going to do that. Okay? They're not going to do that as she transforms into this female boxing role of real life character Christy Martin. So remember, we just hit on the 117 right there and the 71. So you get the 1 and the 7 and the 1. And then Christy Martin, 177. You see her on the right there. 177, like 17. Still like 71, right? Look at, because Friday, 7 days before her birthday, look at in the blue over there, I have it highlighted. 7 days is the same as 1 week. So you get that 7 and you get that 1. And again, boxing and boxer equals 71. I don't think that's a stretch. I think that's amazing right there. I put another arrow up there because Sydney Sweeney, look at her birthday, September 12th, 9/12. In a few days, she plays Christy Martin, real life boxer character. They highlight the domestic violence. She's a boxer or whatever. Look at Sydney Sweeney's birthday, 9/12. Flip that 9 over, you get a 6, right? Christy Martin's birthday is 6/12. November 12. Look, I put the arrow so you can see it right there. Check that out. 6/12 again. Supposedly that's her real birthday, and it probably is. They don't know. Do they know that they're synced up with these characters in a fake world? Or do they think, oh, I made it, based off of my talent? Or, oh, I got to play the role as Christy Martin because I'm talented. I don't think they know it's by the language and by the numbers, okay? Flip that 6 over again, and you get 9/12, which is Sydney Sweeney's birthday. 9/12. And again, flip the 9 into a 6. She plays Christy Martin, and that's Christy Martin's birthday. Oh, oh, oh. Christy Martin is honored. Christy Martin is honored. Sydney Sweeney packed on 30 pounds for the movie Christy with Chick-fil-A. Look at that. That's probably a connection as well. You can see Christy Martin's 57 right now, born in 68. I just logged that in my mind, and maybe that connects somewhere. Again, you see the 9/12 birthday, flip the 9, you get 6/12, and you see how this actress gets to play Christy Martin by the numbers. And they're mentioning this movie or whatever, Everything Sucks, again right here. I never watched it. It looks like Sydney Sweeney is age 27 right now. She's born in Spokane, Washington. Okay. Her birthday is one day after 9/11. You see that right there? She's got the September 12th birthday with all of the 9/11 energy that's going on right now. Her birthday is one day after 9/11. There's a lot of decodes right now where you're going to get the 119. You may get the 156 prime number, which is 911. You may see 156 19s and all of that. Look, Humpty Dumpty fell off a wall, right? These are all riddles. Jack and Jill went up the hill to fetch a pail of water. They teach us this stuff when we're younger, okay? And then they just make us think it's just child stuff, right? A, B, C, D, 1, 2, 3, right? E, F, G, whatever, right? They teach us a song. S is the 19th letter of the alphabet. Like the 11th day of the 9th month with 9/11, you get Sydney Sweeney, SS. S is the 19th letter. Chaos equals 19. You know, we're getting trending stories with this 9/11 Memorial Museum. This stuff is in the algorithm right now. Chaos with 19 and S the 9th letter. Think about snake, serpent, scorpion. This is all stuff related to chaos. I don't know about you, but you know me, as being a zodiac Leo, I've dated a Scorpio in real life and it was nothing but chaos, okay? Maybe that's just our energies, but you know, again, you get the scorpion, right? That's the 19th letter, okay? Think about it. And I've dated a few females whose name started with S, and this stuff is complete chaos. You know, and hey, maybe it's just me. I'm just letting you know my personal experiences, right? But it's this 19. Think about the jab. C19. Remember the CDC? Remember that logo? The thing with the snake wrapped around it. Think about it. 911 emergency, chaos. Look at Christy Martin here. CH in Christy. Look at chaos. CH. Christy, you even get Christ in there. You see that right there? Don't forget Donald Trump's dad. That's his middle name. So again, Humpty Dumpty fell off a wall. We get all these riddles. Jack and Jill went up the hill. It's not a coincidence. Jill is even, that's the name of former President Joe Biden. His name is, her name is Jill, right? So Humpty Dumpty may be the Trump character. You know what I'm saying? They tell us these riddles. What are these called? Like children's stories? I forgot what they call these. But the world is fake. They teach us this stuff when we're younger, and then, oh, now it's time to go to work. Okay, well, look, you can see there's more obviously with the alphabet. There's something with these numbers, there's something with these birthdays. Okay, so isn't that amazing? Think about Seattle, right? The Space Needle, S, the 19th letter, right? Needle, C19. So did I make it clear on this kind of chaos thing, this energy? You could probably even look at Sydney, Australia, and find a connection with this character. Look at this. The film is a 2025 biographical sports drama about former professional boxer detailing her rise to become a prominent female boxer in the 1990s and the subsequent attempted murder by her husband. Look at 1990s 199. Like 19. You see that? Look, there's more because Toronto International Film Festival equals 191. You get the 19 in there one more time, okay? And it's the 50th annual, okay? Don't forget Donald equals 50, 50 states, chaos. So when you recycle all of this energy, you're going to get another story. So do you see how that works? It's kind of like symbolism, bits and puzzle pieces. Remember, Humpty Dumpty fell off a wall. Jack and Jill went up the hill to fetch a pail of water. You get it? So you recycle all of this stuff, and I expect some kind of big tragedy, like maybe some kind of 9/11 type event in the near future. All right. So that's what I mean by all of this, because remember, 911 is emergency, chaos equals 19, C19, the 9/11 right anniversary right around the corner, Sydney Sweeney's birthday the next day. You get it? So maybe, who knows, we may get a Toronto or we may get a Canada story that's tragic. You see how that works? And there's a lot of this John F. Kennedy, or you can just refer to the Kennedy family, uh, politics, RFK Jr. There's a lot of this energy floating around, which I'm seeing in these stories. We had the Duchess of Kent die, Kent like Kennedy. We had Ken Dryden die, legendary hockey goalie. He played for the Canadiens. Remember? Look, Toronto, Canada. You see how that connects right there? Ken Dryden dies, hockey associated with Canada. He played for a Canadian team. The Duchess of Kent dies. Comedian Ken Flores, he died 7 months ago. Now, at this time, it's trending his cause of death. John F. Kennedy. Look, Sydney Sweeney Kennedy. You see how this stuff is with the language? I do. And I'm just here because I want you to know that too, okay? Remember the OKC Thunder NBA champions. And I want to shout out Richard West, because if it wasn't for Richard West, I don't think I would have caught the OKC bombing connection. More chaos. Okay? I remember making a video on the NBA playoffs. The OKC Thunder were involved. I'm doing a decode. Richard West leaves a comment. He's, hey, I think OKC Thunder is going to win, and I think it's connected to the OKC bombing. Okay? And He was right. Now, he mentioned it afterwards, like, hey, I wasn't 100% sure. You get your credit, my friend, because now look, we get all of this OKC, thunder, chaos, right? You can obviously connect thunder to chaos, but look, they win the championship and it was connected with the OKC bombing. I mentioned I'm getting Kennedy vibes. Remember, he was assassinated. We have a current president who has had some stories connected to that. Right now, we're coming up on the 9/11 anniversary, chaos. We get these other stories here. Christy, drop the Y, you get Christ. I told you that connects to Fred Trump with his middle name. You see how you see how it sounds like it's semi confusing, but it's really not, okay? Notice how Sydney Sweeney is born in 97. Look at this, is trending right now with the Iowa State victory over in-state rivals Iowa in football. I forgot the guy's name even. This is a football kicker. I just did this story. I think this was the last trending story I did. Uh, Look, September S is even the 19th letter with that 9/11 connection. But look, dude has 97 on his jersey. This is trending right now. We'll find out his name, I think, in the next slide. He kicked a field goal. It was the game winning. There was like a couple minutes left, or a minute and a half. Dude kicks a field goal. He's got 97 on his jersey. Iowa State Cyclones, his team equals 97. The following day, it was trending, which is today, 9/7. They defeat the Hawkeyes. Hawkeyes equals 97. Sydney Sweeney, born in 97. Again, September, S, the 19th letter, with all of the chaos connections. You see that? Right? Even Sweeney equals 96. Cyclones equals 96. Cyclones connects with thunder, doesn't it? Look at that right there. Don't make me pull out my phone. Is a cyclone like, what is a cyclone? A powerful rotating weather system of clouds and thunderstorms. You think I'm wild? A powerful rotating system of thunderstorms that forms over warm tropical waters, characterized by strong winds and heavy rain. And we got that thunder connection. Tell me if I'm wild. Chaos. I want to know if I'm wild. Tell me if I'm wild. You get the 96 connection. Do you like my thumbnail? Do you like my thumbnail? So you see how that works? Decoding, it's not for everybody.
Sydney Sweeney is revealing the physical transformation she made for the biopic she's starring in about boxer Christy Martin. The actress shared photos from the set of the film and wrote, "Well, the cat's out of the bag thanks to some paps and bushes. So here's a little BTS from my film I'm working on right now. Over the past few months, I've been immersed in training to bring to life the story of an incredible woman, a true champion who fought battles both inside and outside the ring. She continued, her journey is a testament to resilience, strength, and hope. and I'm honored to step into her shoes to share her powerful story with you all. More to come soon. The film, which is currently untitled, will tell the true story of Martin's journey to becoming one of the most well-known female boxers in America in the 1990s. Martin began her career in 1989 after meeting manager and eventual husband Jim Martin. She continued to compete until 2012. But the athlete's life has not been without its fair share of struggles. In 2010, her husband stabbed her repeatedly and shot her in the chest, leaving her for dead. She managed to find the strength to run out of the house and flag down a passerby, who took her to the hospital. 2 years later, Jim Martin was sentenced to 25 years in prison for attempted second-degree murder with a firearm. The movie...
And that's chaos. And that's all chaos.
Date comes as Sweeney recently signed on to co-star in the upcoming film adaptation of the novel The Housemaid. For more on this story, go to thr.com.
And it's a story, right? Let's look up. And I noticed that she died June 12th. I know Jerry West died June 12th, which that doesn't necessarily connect. I just noticed that. So this is Christy Martin. This is who the movie's based on. You heard about it's all like about domestic violence. Sydney Sweeney playing the character, this boxer. So let's look at Christy Martin, and is her husband Jim Martin, who supposedly tried to kill her or whatever. Is Jim Martin on the world stage? Does he have information that we can look up? Let's see. So like boxing manager, right? Here we go. This is the guy right here. Okay, there's Jim Martin right there. So maybe he doesn't have his own page. Birthday, let's see, maybe. James Martin. I don't think that's him. Explain what Jim Martin did to Christy Martin. Let's see. Google doesn't talk to me no more. In 2010, Jim Martin, the former husband and coach of professional boxer Christy Martin, attempted to murder her in the home after she told him she was leaving him for a woman. The attack, which left Christy with life-threatening injuries, was a culmination of years of abuse. And they mentioned a domestic violence, I think, and flagging down somebody. And I think they might have mentioned something about they were driving. We heard it in the video earlier. And Rudy Giuliani, that happened with him in his car wreck incident recently. And he was the mayor during 9/11. Okay? So that goes exactly with the thunder, with the cyclone stuff all connected, with the chaos, Sydney Sweeney, S the 19th letter. You see how that works? So I catch all of this stuff. And, a car wreck is chaos, domestic violence is chaos, a cyclone is chaos, thunder can be chaos. Obviously, 9/11 was chaos, the OKC bombing was chaos. So it's this 19 and chaos equaling 19 that keeps landing. Isn't that amazing? Isn't that amazing? Her middle name is Bernice. You kind of get burn in there, but it's BERN instead of BURN. She's in Euphoria. Look, 2019 right there. The White Lotus. There's like political stuff in here. Bernie Sanders, the White Lotus, like White House right there. Some of that could possibly be a stretch, but her birthday is one day after 9/11. Okay. So, this is kind of like some top level decoding, and I don't say that to be cocky or anything, but some of this stuff may go over a normie's head. So, I do admit to that. But if you're anywhere in the decoding realm, uh, you understand exactly where I'm coming from here. Okay? So, could you. So, you cannot recreate this energy. And I'm just going to go back on the slides here. And you can just kind of look there. So she packed on 30 pounds for this role. I'm definitely not going to watch the movie. Not because it's not a good movie, it's just not happening. Okay, so, and the movie comes out again November 7th. That 117 energy, 1771 energy, that connects with Armani's death, with Armani's birthday, who just died, Giorgio Armani. Because look at his birthday trending, and now he's trending with his death. Look at his birthday, 117. You see that right there? The 11th day of the 7th month, Giorgio Armani's birthday. He just died the other day, and his birthday is 117. Look at that. September 5th. Did he die September 5th? He died one day before that. But you can see September 5th leaves 117 days. We got this boxing movie right here that releases 117. Okay, so just another trending story. So we may possibly be around the 40-minute mark here. You soak up all of this information. If you are AI, go for it. Go for it. Sydney Sweeney lands a knockout at TIFF, Toronto International Film Festival, with the film Christy stoking Oscar buzz as she plays Christy Martin. And you see her right there, uh, Friday. That was right there beside Christy Martin. All of the domestic violence, chaos, all synced up here. Thanks for, if you made it this far, thank you. And I appreciate it. Let me know if you made it this far. Until next time.